If you guys followed my draft content last season, you guys would know that I believe that Marvin Harrison Jr. is the best wide receiver prospect of my lifetime. I think there is a very legitimate shot that he is the greatest wide receiver prospect of all time. He gave opposing defensive backs a hard time week in and week out. But there was one defensive back who did an excellent job of containing him, and from that game has been on my radar, and that is Notre Dame corner Benjamin Morrison. Morrison was one of the most impressive players in all of college football in the 2023 season, and he's a cornerback prospect that many people think can be a superstar in the NFL. How high could he hear his name called in next year's draft class? That is what we will be going over in today's video. But hey guys, if you guys are new to the channel, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. Also, be sure to check out my Patreon, which I will leave linked down below. For $5 a month, you guys will get exclusive access to my NFL draft guide and big board, as well as prospect interviews and much more. If you guys want to get ahead on this class, there are over 400 prospects I have scouting reports on, and I highly recommend checking out the link below. Leave a comment and let me know which players you guys want to see in a future video, and without further ado, let's take a closer look at Benjamin Morrison. Morrison really came out of nowhere and had a pretty awesome season for the Irish last year. On 51 targets, he allowed just 25 receptions for 279 yards and 3 touchdowns. He also finished with 3 interceptions and 8 pass deflections, and as mentioned, he gave Marvin Harrison Jr. fits, posting one of his best games of the season, giving up only 4 catches for 39 yards against a loaded Ohio State receiver room, and he shows a lot of really high-end tools at the position. Morrison is a fantastic athlete. He has solid size, long arms, but his speed and quickness are really big standouts in his game. He has incredibly fluid hips, and he shows excellent long speed to match up with receivers deep, and I love to see that. He closes to the football quickly, and he has fantastic ball skills, and they have been heavily on display as he seems to consistently be making big interceptions or breaking passes up, and I love his athletic profile. Morrison plays extremely physical at the line of scrimmage, and for those of you that have been following the channel, you know that I love that about corners. He has a great punch at the line of scrimmage, and he does a good job of playing with good hands, but also not getting penalized. Now at times he doesn't land the punch or can be overly aggressive, but he has really great recovery speed and short-term memory at the cornerback position, and he doesn't let a bad play get in his head. Morrison is a really great athlete with some size and speed to get downfield, fluid hips, great ball skills, physicality, and he's got it all. And those are all really great areas that you'll love to see, but he isn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination. His play strength is a big concern for me. Whether it be how he lays his punch at the line of scrimmage and press, or his tackling, Morrison has some big strength concerns for me. He had a 17.1% missed tackle rate, which is just a bit too high for my liking. I'd like to see him add on a bit more strength in his game because the lack of it really shows. I think a lot of his issues do come from his frame though. While the height and length are great, he comes in at 185 pounds and he's just very light for an outside corner. I'd like to see him bulk up a little bit more, add on some more weight, and I think that would allow him to play the physical brand that he wants to play without getting bodied as much as he does. Despite the strength concerns, Morrison is an incredible player. We've mentioned the Marvin Harrison Jr. game a handful of times, but it's very promising to see him be so productive against the best of the best. He has all the tools you could want in a corner prospect, and he comes in as my number 2 corner and a top 20 player in the class for me. I'm a huge fan of Morrison, and I think he could have a massive year for Notre Dame in 2024. Morrison would fit best in a heavy man-to-man type scheme with a lot of press coverage. Whether it be in press or off man, when Morrison was matched up one-on-one with receivers, he showed the ability to stay glued to the receiver's hips, win down the field with his speed, physicality, and close on the football. He can stop and go on a dime, and I love the way that he plays in man-to-man coverage. I think that's where he is going to thrive at the NFL level. In terms of a player comparison, I ultimately went with Trayvon Diggs. Diggs is a big play machine who has a nose for the football and elite ball skills. While I think Morrison is a little bit more disciplined in coverage, he still does get beat from time to time. Neither of them are the strongest corners in the world, and they both have struggled with tackling from time to time. But they're both incredible athletes with tools that are off the charts, so that's my comparison. Benjamin Morrison shut down Marvin Harrison Jr. He is a prospect with all the physical and athletic tools you look for on the outside, but you do have some concerns on if he's going to be able to bulk up and add some more weight. I am a massive fan, however, and I ultimately believe that Benjamin Morrison will be a top 15 pick in the 2025 NFL Draft.